Welcome to the Mad Chatter Podcast. I am your host, Tyler Malloy, and this is Angelo Asinato.
Some homeless guy.
Yeah, we're going to be homeless. Stay tuned. I got some rapid questions for you, Angelo.
They're coming in hot.
I don't know how quickly you'll be able to answer some of them, but you're going to do your best. All right, honey?
All right.
All right. Is it racist to only date black women?
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we go. Fuck, marry, kill. You got Megan Fox, Jennifer Lawrence, and Ariana Grande.
Ooh. Fuck Megan Fox, marry Jennifer Lawrence, definitely kill Ariana Grande.
Sorry, Grande.
Damn, sorry.
What's below a Grande?
What's below a Grande?
Nothing. Just more dirt.
Yeah.
Because you killed her.
Oh, that's genius.
All right, so we got, are you a feet guy or a hand guy?
Definitely a hand guy, because I don't find anything sexy about feet.
You find things sexy about hands?
I mean, if I had to choose between one of the two, it would be hands. I don't really particularly have a fetish for.
You'd rather have
one
a
of the
hand
two.
job than a foot job?
Yeah, I think that was pretty. To me, that was the question. To me, that was the question. Foot job or hand job? That was the question to me.
All right. Do you believe?
Now, careful, we're going kind of fast here.
Do you believe in free will?
Oh,
fucking gross.
Hold on, folks.
It's a rapid fire question. Yes or no?
Shit. That's not a quick yes or no though.
Yeah, it's a yes or no. Do you or do you not?
Do I or do I not believe in free will? Yes, to an extent. That's as precise as I can make it. Yes, to an extent. I do, to an extent.
He's wrong.
Maybe.
I know things.
Look, I don't want to get into the whole.
I talked to the little guy downstairs, man.
I don't want to get into the whole. Can you not want to want something? But
you can't. You want what you want. Do gay people have a choice?
Okay, I think though it comes down for me more of like, because at that point, if free will doesn't exist, it only doesn't exist because you can't help what you want. But I think the question would be like for somebody who fears being too influenced by other people or things around them or whatever. Fuck, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't exist.
Okay, like
I just did a horrible job of just rambling on and babbling for a second there, but I'm just like, I'm consistently debating my own points in my head before they even come out of my mouth.
For me, it's
like I said, it's not a straightforward question.
If I ask you who you are, you can't give me an answer.
That's a solid no, yeah.
Right? So, a lot of people define themselves as their body. They have their personality, and you have a truck guy who defines himself by his truck or partially, you know what I mean, by your job, by the amount of money you have, who you have on your arm going, who you're married to, your children, be like, oh, I'm a mother, I'm a father. I'm like, but who are you? You're not just that, right?
It's kind of funny. It's kind of like that. I literally never even thought about this until just now. This will only be relevant for people who have seen the movie Anger Management, but it's that scene in Anger Management where Dave goes to his first meeting and he's sitting down and he's like, and Buddy's like, Dave, all right, I want you to tell us who you are. And he's like, all right, well, my name is Dave. I can't remember what his last name is, but it's like, I'm, a pretty easygoing guy. And he's like, also, Dave, I want you to tell us who you are. Yeah. And he's like, I'm a fashion designer for cats. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. He's like, Dave, you're describing to us what you do. I want to know who you are. And he's like, I don't know what the hell you want me to say. Like, it's just like, that's a hard fucking question to answer. Like,
well, see, that's what, any type of defining yourself as a individual falls short. Listening to Alan Watts, he talks about you're an organism environment. Like, you can't exist without the ground on your feet. Like, you need oxygen to breathe. So we define ourselves as having lungs, as if we are this this consciousness that is controlling our body. Yet I don't talk like I beat my own heart. I say my heart beats. Not that I beat my own heart. It's as if we were like tuned in and like we are individual. Like we're not of the world. We're in the world. And that's not what I've seen or really experienced. It makes just as much sense to say that my lungs are vital for me to stay alive as it is for trees and algae in the ocean to create oxygen for me to breathe. Like, how am I separate from that? It's just a matter of definition who you are, and everything falls short. Every time you try to define yourself, you're making yourself smaller. So I don't believe that Timer Malloy exists just as much as I don't believe you exist. So if I don't exist, then there's no will of mine to be free to choose. I am just consciousness experiencing my life through the eyes of someone as Timer Malloy with my certain set of experiences.
See, I think where people get fucked up and lost in translation a lot of the times is that they, like most people, don't really see past the physical plane. Like, whereas, like, if I can see you and I can touch you, you exist. You're here. I'm here. Like, but then it goes back to that whole you identifying as your body.
Yeah.
And it just becomes at a certain point, like, people have to, in their own mind, in order to stay sane, they can't go past that physical plane of understanding that you are more than just this physical thing that I see sitting across the table from me. And also, the same way that Alan Watts talks about, I only know myself in relation to you.
Yeah.
And if there was no you, there would be no other. There would be no other around me. Yeah, there would be no echo. There would be no echo chamber telling me what I am.
Yeah.
And I'm not who I think I am. I am who I think you think I am.
Yep.
So it's just like, and you can go round and round with that, and unless somebody is open enough to be scared a little bit and to wonder a little bit, I don't think you'll ever get past that physical plane of description and understanding with certain people. Like, so you just got to be, I think you got to be open-minded enough, and I think courageous would be a good word. I think you need to be open-minded and courageous enough to entertain the possibility that nothing is what you think it is.
Yeah.
Like, and if you can be open enough to be a little bit scared, you just might learn some shit that you've been hiding from your whole life. You just might decide to let something in. Like, a lot of people have had certain information at their fingertips right in front of them their whole life. It's kind of like the whole, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear thing. The teacher was there all along. You just weren't ready.
Well, see, just for free will, I don't believe free will exists because I don't exercise. Like, I don't exist to exercise free will.
Every time we have this conversation, I get closer and closer. I get brought back. To that close. To the.
But as we talked about before, it doesn't mean like I still act as if free will exists. Like, I believe that it doesn't, but I still act as if it does. Though I just find myself having to try less and less to do things that I want to do. And it's not a magic cure-all. In fact, you talked about it. Say you're trying to quit something that's destructive or that's affecting you in a negative way, and you're like, I can't. If I just believe that I don't have any control, then I'm just never going to change. And I don't believe that. It doesn't mean like act as if you have free will, try to do better. But, what's going to happen is going to happen. I guess that might be like determinism. But to me, that's not like, oh, wow, well, then this whole life's a sham if everything's predefined. I'm like, no, I'm getting to experience this, and it's amazing. And it still feels as if I have free will. So just go with it. Like, stop. Like, I don't know, man.
Fear rules a lot of things in my life, as it does for most people.
A lot, man.
And I think one thing that makes me more comfortable in my own skin now is being able to admit what scares the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah.
One of those things has been having to consistently confront my own mortality. And I think another one of those things has been having to confront the possibility that I don't have control over a goddamn thing. I think no matter how hard I try, how much I rationalize it, and how much I open myself up to being comfortable to letting go of that control that I feel like I have, even if I don't have it.
Yeah.
I think just like that like it's scared me enough into damn near panic attacks before, like legitimately. And I think the more that I let go of the possibility of that control, the better I seem to feel. And I kind of froze up there for a second because sometimes it's kind of hard to just put it into simple fucking words.
Yeah.
But it's just like when you really get down deep into it, like me, that, going back to that fear ruling a lot of things in my life, it's just the fear of, well, if I can't control this thing, let's just use my addiction with smoking weed, for example. If I can't control my ability to, do this thing that helps me relax sometimes, but also as a side effect makes me lazy, makes me not want to do things, makes me eat shit that I shouldn't and not care about doing what I should be doing. If I can't stop that thing that fucks up a lot of other things in my life, like if I can't stop that one thing, how am I going to ever make progress in other areas? How am I ever going to be able to make myself work out? How am I ever going to be? And then I'll catch myself and be like, make myself. What the fuck am I doing to make myself do these things? Like anytime that I've ever done it before, at some point I found some sort of rhythm and some sort of groove, and it just started happening. Like anytime that I've tried to force things, and we have talked about this time and again, but anytime that I've tried to force things, all I end up doing is struggling the same amount that I was struggling whenever I wasn't trying to force it, but now I'm just adding the stress on my shoulders of
judgment.
Of like self-judgment and feeling like, oh, I am definitely being a piece of shit right now because I know what I should be doing. And then it's just like, then the philosophy side of my brain wants to pull me into that. Well, what you should be doing, isn't that all just a subjective construct that that people made up for purpose? Like, it's
dude,
just
one of the hardest hitting shit that I forget all the time is you'll have these thoughts and you'll believe them without even questioning them, and then like. Dude, I swear, like...
Because it just feels right in the moment
I know, and it's just like, this can go on for weeks or months. Well, you have this narrative in your head of these voices in your head or these thoughts in your head that you believe, and I'm like, wait a minute, like that... I don't have to identify with this narrative of what's going on. Like, it's almost like a lie. Like, it's just thoughts, and you just choose to consistently believe... this narrative. You talk about narratives in the news and everything. We have a narrative in our own head of how our life is going.
Yeah.
Like,
it's true.
You thinking about the past 2 years and what you've been going through, you have a narrative of just, I keep fucking up. Like, you can change your fucking narrative through mindfulness.
Yeah.
You can have those thoughts and then observe them and be like, I don't have to identify with that. I can write my own narrative. Like, yes, am I struggling? Yes. That makes me stronger. If there's an equal amount of good and bad stuff, you can focus on the good stuff, change your narrative instead of focusing on the bad. But I mean, just like news, our monkey brains were wired for negativity, shit that can hurt us. You know what I mean? You don't see as many positive news articles. And even if you did, you might not even click on them because it just doesn't snap like that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, most of the news that we watch now, like the places that run them are largely based out of profit, and fear sells a lot better.
Absolutely, man. And I'm not above it either. I do have a decent control over my emotions. I don't know. I just think you get a certain amount of perspective and mindful. Dude, I fucking need to work on mindfulness. Like,
dude,
I'll get so caught up, and I'll be like,
you're fucking way better at it than I am, and like it's. But I guess that's just kind of
zoom out. It's a muscle, man.
Yeah,
it's a muscle.
I was just gonna say it's just like it's about like consistent repetition of practicing that mindfulness, like every time. Man, it is hard. Dude, it's hard to do it whenever I get real pissed off about things, because my anger, that's probably one of the hardest emotions for me to get out of once I get pulled into it. And that's definitely. I'm way better with it now than I was, 4 years ago. But
when I get angry,
it's just I don't know.
If I have just even a little bit of mindfulness now, which I keep using that word because to me it's like a fucking superpower. It's mindfulness to me. If you utilize that, means if you have your autopilot mode where you've been doing things for a long time, mindfulness can get you out of your autopilot mode. That's the only way. So if I get pissed off, I'll first start with self-love. There's no wrong feelings. I accept and I love you, timer. Like, I love you. Like, I'm talking to somebody else in my own brain. Like, I love you. It's okay to be angry. Like, there is nothing wrong with that. Like, feel what you're going to feel. Like, don't try to push it away. Don't try to fight it. Let in the anger and be like, and then the second thought, like I say, I'll zoom out and I'll try to get a cosmic picture of what's going on. And I'm like, it's so easy to think that this is the most important thing going on right now, but the truth is we're just this speck. And taking myself and making me smaller makes me realize how insignificant it is and how amazing it is that I even fit into all this. And I'm like, it's just a job. It's just a person. Like, I'm here for a limited amount of time. And it doesn't mean that I'm still not angry, but I'm still thinking this. And I'm like, do I want to spend my time being angry or resentful? It doesn't do it. If it's not productive in any way, I don't think so. But since I already, instead of fighting it, I let it in, and I felt that self-love, that there's no such thing as a wrong feeling. Like, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. That helps me out a lot. But if I forget, if I'm not, and that's the thing, you can't force mindfulness. You'd have to be mindful to be fucking mindful. So
yeah,
it's got to happen just like anything else. You can't force shit. It's more like you get a certain perspective, you learn things. Life hurts. You're having a problem. We're influenced by our environment more than we think we are, That's why I said we're an organism environment. So, but that's what works for me. But you might also be predisposed, just genetics or whatever, to be more quickly to get to anger.
Yeah, it runs in my family on both sides.
Yeah, but also, who's put in work? You know what I mean? Like, it's perspective. I feel like, yes, we have genetics, and that definitely has our part to play in our, like, neurochemistry. But you can change your neurochemistry. That's called, you have neuroplasticity. May have pronounced that wrong. Whatever. Same thing what happens when you're a kid. You have all these neurons connecting and forming in your brain, and that's why you learn so quickly as a child. Which is also why I think psychedelics has such a profound effect at curing or treating addiction. Because when you take something like LSD or magic mushrooms,
it breaks a lot of those
the barriers down. Like, you form incredibly strong pathways, like you would when you're a kid, when you're under the influence of these drugs.
Well, I also feel like that
that
can break a lot of those very, very tightly bonded connections, like from thinking about things from childhood in an unhealthy way.
But it's like, what time is it right now?
It is 11:19, and we started around 6:30.
Yeah, it was like 7:30 probably, actually.
Was it?
Yeah. So it's been a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It still feels like it's been a long time.
I think starting a side hustle or an online business, just anything you're really passionate about, is much harder to do when you have a full-time job. Traditional 9 to 5 or whatever you do. Like, I deliver pizzas. I work anywhere from 30 to 36 hours a week. I get 3 days off. That's really nice. Though, most people just, when they get off work, they want to come home and just de-stress, try to forget about their problems. I'm fortunate enough to not have any children or a significant other that I have to focus on. So I focus on myself, and it's already hard to find the energy to focus on things that would actually give my life more fulfillment in the long run. Instead, I just want to find my little addictions and, well, not that I really want to do it. It's just easier to escape through TV or video games or drugs or, whatever addiction you may have. That's not the choice I want to make all the time. But, going back to the topic about free will, what happens, happens. I'm not going to try to force anything anymore. If it's weird that I'm talking all like predetermined right now, but if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Like I'm here, I'm aware, I exist, and life is beautiful. And if you stop judging everything as good or bad all the time, you just come to appreciate what is. Doesn't mean I have this perspective all the time. Though I feel like a lot of people, like I said, just come home and they want to escape, and they don't have the mindfulness to realize they're doing the same thing every day. And it's very easy to judge other people. Like I would judge somebody being like, wow, look at how you're living your life. You're playing video games all the time. You're not doing anything. And I'm like, wow, well, that's a real projection onto them because I'm claiming to do all this stuff, but what have I actually done besides talk about doing something? So, yeah, it's a struggle. Like I said, just for a few hours a day. Like I've been probably putting it in for the past few weeks, like over 10 hours into like thoughts and ideas and trying to figure out art and figure out how to get the cameras to work, microphones to work, that sort of thing. Of course, I have Nick to help. I really don't know how I do it without him because he solved problems like my brain would break before I'd solve.
Shout out to the brains of the operation.
Yeah, the man behind the screen, as I called him in the last episode. But ultimately, very fulfilling. After we recorded that first podcast, I felt really good. Like, I felt so fucking good, like I just shot heroin, or I don't know what that feels like, but I bet it feels pretty good. People keep coming back.
Well, I mean, yeah, dude, it was the ultimate, it had to be the ultimate dopamine hit, because before, like, when this was just an idea, like, the idea of having to figure out how all this shit works and then actually get the microphones and all the stuff, make the little setup and whatnot, like, it had to be a lengthy, stressful process to put foot to ass on that, but here we are sitting at the table doing the thing. And as much as I'm not super excited about my first appearance on here, I feel like I could have made some more intelligent talking points and whatnot, but at this point, whatever it is, there's going to be a lot more to come.
Room for improvement, man.
Yeah, definitely.
That's like if you don't look back at yourself a year from now and think that old version of yourself was stupid, then you're not moving in the right direction.
Well, that definitely makes me feel good, because compared to the me 4 years ago, life is 360 degrees different.
Absolutely.
For sure.
It's maybe one day we'll tell the story about how we became best buds. Right now, I don't know. We might need to.
That's a long story.
Wait, man, shit. I think I might need to talk. I want to be an open book, but we might need to talk to some lawyers before. I need to know what the statute. I want to talk about certain things that happen, but I don't know, like, legally if I could be persecuted for certain things.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need there's a statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations, something like that. Yeah. I don't know if that's what that is.
We're not lawyers. We just people that don't want to get in trouble.
We're not lawyers.
Yeah, but hey, man, once I get the green light, they're like, yeah, they can't do nothing. I'll be like, well, I got some stories to tell. But
yeah, I think just going back to the whole it being difficult to start things, whether that be a business that you want to start, whether that be a new routine that you want to start, whether that be a new eating habit, whether that be the next sentence on the fucking podcast, which has been the struggle for a while. Like, it's just making that final decision to go ahead and jump.
Yeah, man, it's like I just had to accept it's gonna be ass.
Oh my god! Like, and I used to say this to myself all the time. Well, you got to be shitty to get better.
Yeah.
And I heard that from a fucking movie somewhere. But it's just that phrase is true enough to stand the test of time. Like, you got to be shitty to get better, and if you want to get better, well, you've accepted the fact that you need to get better, which means that you're not great at the moment. Everybody's got room to improve.
Well, I mean,
but I think for me, like the same way. Like the same way that I don't have as much content on TikTok with my music, or as much as I'd like to, the same reasons that I don't have as much music on YouTube maybe as much as I'd like to is just because like a lot of my lack of content has been just that fear of just go ahead and jump in.
Yeah.
Like, and I've heard a lot of content creators talk about that rut of self-consciousness that you can slip into, and it can pull you so deep into that pit of fear that you just like are more worried about the possible negative repercussions of what's going to happen for putting yourself out there than you are worried about what it could mean for your progress if you don't.
Yeah.
And it's just like it can become dangerous like that. And I feel like at this point I'm kind of a prime example of that, which is kind of why I'm trying to kick my ass back into shape right now. I'm getting back into working out finally. My legs are, to say the least, quiveringly sore. I've been having trouble walking on them today. But regardless, just like sometimes it's difficult to just make that decision and jump.
Yeah, it's the quote, fail fast, fail often.
Fail often, fail. Yeah, Will Smith said it. Fail
forward.
It's fail. Yeah, fail often. Fail something.
Nick can look up the quote.
I can't remember what the hell. Yeah, it's
appreciate you, Nick.
Yeah. It's
man.
It's important.
It's also documenting the journey. Like if this podcast was like excellent level podcast from the beginning, I wouldn't get any of the joy of watching myself get better and grow.
That's true.
And it's humbling.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I'll have a conversation with somebody and think, I was like, wow, I sounded amazing. I made great points. And then like just listening to a conversation that I had on this podcast, back to it, I'm like, I sound like a dumbass. Now, yeah, a lot of that's probably self-judgment or, insecurity I need to deal with. But at the same time, I'm like, wow, I could speak a lot better. Like, Alan Watts to me is like gold tier speaking. Like, just part of it's his fucking accent. He just sounds majestic as fuck, man.
Well, he also doesn't ever fuck up any of his words.
No,
really.
He's so deliberate with every single word.
And a lot of times you can't. Well, another thing too that's impressive is that you can never tell when he's drunk and when he's not in his videos.
Because he's always drunk.
Maybe. Yeah, that might really be what it is.
Is that what we're doing wrong?
Oh man,
we need to fill this up with alcohol. Next
maybe
podcast we're getting trashed.
Okay, so new plan, guys. Next podcast, we are going to get absolute slammered fucking drunk, even though neither one of us really drink. And then we're going to see if we can articulate our way through this more educationally.
If you've watched this far, comment down some interesting questions you want to ask me and Angelo.
Please.
Me and Angelo. Angelo and I, for you grammar fucking Nazis out there. Nazis are bad, if you didn't know.
I don't really condone Nazis.
Yeah. We should do live
white supremacy.
What if we did like a live stream sometime?
Oh man, so people could get in the comments.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be helpful.
And we could just like put the tablet right here so we could read them.
Yeah, so we could see.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, all right.
That'd be cool as fuck.
That would actually be helpful.
Yeah.
Because then we could get constant. Then we could get constant feedback and then get topic help as well.
Yeah.
Which would be relevant because it would be in real time.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get some subscribers. I'm gonna tell everyone I know to subscribe and to like the video. Subscribe to me, baby.
Please show your support.
But yeah, man, we should maybe at like one of these intros like use one of your songs or like Funk My Life or something for some intro music. Like why not? Fuck it. Like that's cool. You can check out Angelo's music. It's Low Key Official. He's got a few songs out, man. They're actually really good.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I was his manager for a time being.
Yeah, and hopefully I can get my my shit together enough to get enough content, posted and whatnot to actually maybe get myself back out there and give it another shot. But 27, not 57, so
we young as fuck, bro.
Yeah, man.
We so
Got
fucking
time.
young, man. Like when I say I'm like, man, we're getting old. Our parents are like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, bitch, you don't know shit about getting old. And their grandparents or their
sciatica.
Their parents are like, bitch, I'm in a nursing home. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. It's all relative. Oh my god, man. I gotta get someone on here that disagrees with me, man. Like shit, man. Next time we gotta.
I disagree with that fucking shirt you're always wearing.
Hey, man, don't be hating on this. Flower power, bro. Like,
if you people knew how many times I've had to see this man in this shirt and him pretend like he's dressed up nice, it's ridiculous. It's exhausting.
You know, man, this shirt dates back on my Instagram.
Yeah, it's a solid.
Like, if you look at Snapchat,
I'm surprised I'll be honest. I'm surprised it's held up as good as it has for as long as it has.
You want to know the secret? I've never washed it.
Note to everybody
don't give me a hug if I'm wearing this shirt. That's a lie. That's fake news. I've definitely washed this shirt.
If you are ever wondering how to preserve your button-up shirts for longer, just never wash them.
It's easy, man. You say, look, I'm all about financial frugality.
You heard it here.
I saved a lot of money by not using the detergent to wash this.
You heard it here, folks. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't buy the hype. You don't need to wash your button-up shirts. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Y'all are lucky that I blessed y'all with this shirt because it wasn't going to be a black T-shirt, but I got too fat to wear my medium-sized shirts. Yeah, we're not going to get into why that happened.
Yeah, I'm just fat enough to the point to where these black T-shirts are the only thing that fit really comfortably.
Yeah, thanks.
These and flannel button-ups.
Yeah. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I need to throw some clothes in the dryer.
Fuck.
That's the shit y'all keep coming back for right there. The to-do list.
The to-do list.
Man, to-do list, man. That shit's changed my life. Like, I started, man, what is it?
My sister is a list fiend, too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's, like, really, really anal about, like, scheduling and lists and shit.
Yeah.
Like, the whole spa day today was schedule listed out in her notebook.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You see, I got the, I don't know if you see, dude, I got a lot written in there now. I got game night every Monday, podcast every Tuesday, hell or high water. And then, I always got that to-do list right there. I got my shopping list with the things that I reorder.
Yeah, so I've realized that those don't really serve me as much purpose. Whiteboards are like my savior.
They're awesome.
Those
are
my saviors.
I love these for my to-do
little
list.
Whiteboards,
Yeah, it's like a little whiteboard.
I have my smaller one. You've seen it before. It was the one that my sister drew that thing on. That one there is in my room, and then we got the big one in the kitchen.
But yeah, man, that right there, that big calendar is great for like appointments and shit. So like, I just recently got medical insurance through Johnny's. So I want to make sure that I have like a full body checkup sort of thing at least once a year, possibly twice a year. I think you get one free one a year. So maybe do one right now while I'm still budgeting. But yeah, so you can make sure every year to just keep that thing rotated, and you're like, all right, I got my dentist appointments here, I got my medical appointments here.
I could get a lot of good use out of it. I just always forget to look at it.
I know, man.
That's my problem. Like, I've written a bunch of stuff in there before to try to help me plan with things, and I always end up having to set some sort of dated alarm for myself in my phone because I always forget it. I walk past it 50 times a day.
It's good to do both.
And
if I
could just remember to look at it, it'd be helpful for me.
It's kind of like a habit. You almost have to, like, if you have a morning routine where you wake up at a certain time, like a responsible person.
I actually do now.
You do?
Every single day now I wake up. For the past, since I've been back from New York, every day I wake up between 7:30 and 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Every day.
So you could set an alarm on your phone to look at that, even if it's not relevant.
That's actually a good point.
Build the routine up.
Yeah, because like another thing that would be good is having stuff on there in case something happens to my phone and my phone's not able to remind me on the day that I need to remember.
It's like I got game night on there, so it's really good for like taking something that's in your head, time, and just laying it out like a calendar, what it does.
Being able to see it in physical.
Yeah, and you can see like if you're booked for a week, you'll also know if somebody wants to hang out if you really have free time or not, which maybe is not as relevant to us because it's not like me and you try to keep our schedules clean.
I have fucked myself over before and told 2 people that I'd hang out with them on the same day and forgot until that day came. I've done that before.
Man, I am a sucker for, like, if there's 2 people I want to hang out with, scheduling them at the same time. Like you and Trevor, man. I'm like, nothing would be better than getting it in together because I am dude, I want my free time. But then at the same time, I get energy from both.
Yeah.
But, like, I got to have a certain amount of alone time.
No, I'm
to function.
Jeez, I am the same fucking way, man. If I can't be around people 24/7 all the time. Like that's why I think that's like probably going to be one of my biggest adjustments with living with my sister and her boyfriend is just like, but honestly though, that being said, the immediate silver lining to that is we all respect each other, at least right now. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem. We all respect each other's boundaries really well. Like if I was like, hey, Carmen and Austin, you think I could like have the living room out here for the day, or at least for like 3-4 hours, you know, just me by myself out here, they would be totally cool with that, and
that's really good.
Go back to their room and show, yeah, man, go, you know, like if they need, you know, if they need to come out there for something or whatever, totally cool, like, but also too on that, you know, I can just go in my room and shut my door or whatever, and you know, if my sister or something comes and knocks on my door, I could just let her know, hey, look, I need to be alone for a couple hours, and she would be like, okay, I got you, and vice versa, you know, if her and Austin wanted to hang out in the living room or whatever, I fucking grab my PlayStation, go in my room, and let them have their, you know, their time. And so I feel like that's going to be a really important thing for us moving forward, and we got that out the gate. And I think it helps. I think it helps that it's my sister, because with her, at least off the bat, like we know each other well enough to where we don't have to go through any kind of awkward stage of wondering if we're gonna offend one another by being honest about the shit that bothers us. So we're just like extremely blunt and rawly upfront about whatever, and it's just so fucking helpful.
Yeah, it's be refreshing.
Yeah, Austin's warming up to it. Austin is he's definitely a closed book. He's not a very big communicator, and he talks very, very quietly. But I feel like with time, he's gonna get, you know, we're gonna get to know each other a little bit better, and he'll open up a little bit more the more comfortable we get around each other. And I you know, I want to start cracking him open a little bit and seeing what his deal is. That's why
omelet.
That's why I want to try to get him over here to hang out and stuff, because I feel like after a while. But my sister, you know, me and my sister were talking about it, and you know, one of the things that we brought up was just like I kind of was rushing it in my head without really even thinking about it. She's like, look, man, you got to start with letting him get to know you first, and that's going to be a process. You like want him to go out and get to know Timer and stuff, and like it's going to be a process getting him out the house. Like we got to get to know you first. So I'm taking it slow, and I know at some point you're probably going to see all this, Austin. So, you know,
he's going to have to pay for the OnlyFans link to get this one.
Yeah,
this one ain't going to be free.
I think there is. I think there's great promise in him once he opens up. I will say that. I feel, and so far there hasn't been any bad vibes or anything. It's just been
great promise for friendship.
I think great promise for friendship, for possibly making him into a more open, comfortable, and strong version of himself for my sister, and promise for him being like more of a community thinking team player. So like he's very introvert.
Yeah.
And I feel like with enough time, you know, I can help him be open enough to make himself more confident, so that he can be a little bit more so he can be less apologetically firm about who he is. So either way, I think he's got a lot of really good shit in him.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that he needs somebody to teach him how to become more comfortable with himself so that he can let more of this stuff out, be able to go through the process that I had to go through of learning things about myself by just being comfortable enough with letting it all out so that I can, because like there was a lot of problems that I didn't know that I had to work on until I started talking about it and putting it out into the physical world. And when we started talking about Alan Watts concepts and things like that, and I started becoming a little bit more open with the idea that maybe I had some things wrong and should think about things a little differently, or maybe conduct myself a little bit differently, I think he's got to do some of those same things in the way of like figuring out how to just, like I said, be comfortable enough to put that shit out there so that he can be like, oh man, okay, this is something that I need to work on that I didn't really even realize. Or just, I don't know, maybe he's just a little bit worried about, what's going to cut something. Some people are super self-conscious about talking about, past scars or things like that. I just haven't figured them out yet. But I haven't gotten any bad vibes from him. I've gotten good vibes from him, and he seems like he wants to try.
Yeah.
And all of the signs are pointing to him showing promise of progress, of just being like a better, more comfortable in his skin, man.
Yeah.
I
feel like that would be good.
I feel like
I feel like that would be good for everybody to be themselves, comfortable in their skin. Though I will say this, man, and
I'm working on it myself, so it's still a journey for me too.
It's
not like I got all the answers, but
just be careful to make sure that's what he wants.
Oh, 100%. I've made it abundantly clear to myself a long time ago, as far as helping other people go. I've definitely figured out that I'm definitely not going to try to shove any of my ideas down anybody's throat. I will simply extend my hand.
Yeah.
If he wants to grab it, he's more than welcome to. And this goes for anybody, not just him. He's just the subject of the current conversation. But I learned a long time ago, the more you try to force what you think is right onto somebody else, the easier it'll become for that person to build up resentment towards you for trying to put what you want on them without asking them if that was what they wanted in the first place. And so, kindly let me save you from drowning, said the monkey, pulling a fish up a tree.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be that monkey.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd like to think that I know a few things that helped me at this point. So if somebody else wants to know what it is that I know, I'd be more than happy to share that knowledge.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm at with that. I just feel like some of these things that I know and that I've learned, that we've learned together, is something that may have something to offer to him. And so provided that he wants what this knowledge may have to offer, I'll do what I can to impart the wisdom and pass it on. And maybe from that we can grow together, as different. Like maybe he can teach me something.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I think about all the time, man, is that maybe if I show you how to just simply communicate a little bit better, maybe you can teach me something.
Yeah.
Because he's a listener too. He's not a fucking dumb person at all. He seems like a really intelligent guy, but he's a watcher and he's a listener. I respect that shit because I need to work on watching and listening a little bit more. I think we all could use a little bit.
I love fucking talking.
Yeah, I mean that's what did they say? That's why God gave you two ears and one mouth, so you can listen twice as much as you talk.
Yeah.
Or
why did he give women two boobs? For two babies.
I
don't know.
That was stupid.
Yeah,
that was a fake laugh. But anyway, yeah. So I think I rattled on about my sister's boyfriend a little bit longer than I wanted to here, but I think
it's got me thinking.
I think the concept still remains the same. I think I pulled some I pulled some good, some good points out of that. It's just
well,
like
I just think about project, like
just people in general.
You could look at somebody like a project. And I'm not saying you, I just mean people,
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, well, I learned all these. Just because, like, you learn something and, like, you believe something, now you're like, oh, wow, everybody could benefit from this.
I want to fix everybody.
Yeah, like, oh, my God, it's all wonderful. And then it's like this bliss state, and then you're like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
I'm like, just because you had a revelation doesn't mean anybody else is looking for what you just found.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think
that's a really good way to put that. Just because you had a revelation doesn't mean that somebody else is looking for what you just found.
And I mean, imagine if you were back in your state of mind and somebody else was trying to bring some shit to you. You're like, man, I'm just trying to get through my day. Like, I'm just like, cool, that's awesome for you, but like, I got my ways. So it's more of like a highway interstate sort of situation where, like, I was driving, I put something in my GPS and that's where I'm headed. And then you know what I mean? We were just headed in a mutual direction for a time. And then you're like, oh, wow, I think we both want to go the same direction. I don't want to go to Florida. I want to go to Washington or something. So now me and you are traveling on interstate, and then we have another person that comes up alongside us going somewhere else, only here for a temporary amount of time.
I think the real wins for people like us at this point come when we get to that state of realization that it feels better to not force anything on anybody, because when somebody does come along that does want to open themselves up, it makes it all the sweeter because you didn't force it on them. And now you get to part that wisdom onto somebody that you wanted to.
Forcing anything on someone doesn't work. So
it never fucking does.
But yeah, for the analogy of the vehicles and stuff is, I kind of lost it. I'm not gonna lie.
I think what you got out was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I just think like we're all getting off on different exits. You know what I mean? Like, we may be traveling the same directions, but we both have different destinations. And just because we think we're going the right direction, like just because me and you might be in the same car together at this point, going this direction we think is right, doesn't mean it's right for everybody else.
Yeah.
And even if it would cause less suffering, that's still not our choice to choose. Because it gets down to, like, is life worth living if you're in pain all day long, 24/7? Is that worth living? Or would it make more sense to just not existing? Like, how hard of a question is that? Like, I have a hard time understanding life myself. Like, I can find things and people that help make my life worth living, but, like, who knows how somebody else is processing information. So, yeah, I just like to think we're all on vehicles, and, some people in your life are here to travel alongside you, but we all have different destinations and we all get off on different exits.
Yeah, I think at a certain point it should just be about being able to keep yourself from projecting your own selfish wants onto other people.
Yeah.
And just being able to accept everybody for who they decide that they want to be and what direction they're going.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm going over here. If you wanna go this direction with me, you're more than welcome to. But if you don't want to, that's just as okay. And I don't look at you any different for not going the same direction as me. I think we get too caught up on like labeling people for not going certain directions that we feel like might be better. Just like projecting our own fucking thoughts and feelings on what we think is right and wrong, and then judging people for not following those, those ideologies and shit.
If everybody thought like us, it'd be pretty fucking boring, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely one thing I have learned to appreciate more is different people.
Yeah.
And almost especially more the people that annoy you.
Yeah, so dude, it's like everyone's so unique, man. It's like wonderful. I'm like, you're such a unique person, and I was like, why would I want to change that? Like, yeah, I think from my perspective, I could tell you some things that might improve your quality of life, but you may not want it. And if you don't want it, that's okay too. Like, you're having your experience, I'm having mine. But yeah, man, I think now would be a good time to wrap this up. But I appreciate you enduring all hours of the night with me on this podcast.
Yeah, it is now officially almost midnight.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man.
We definitely squeezed more than 15 minutes out of that. I knew we were gonna.
Yeah.
All right,
my guy.
Mission accomplished.
Fuck yeah.